VR is pretty epic. I'm surprised how successful it's been in the consumer market already. Just crazy how many changes have been here in just such a short amount of time. But how did it get here? What time and effort has been put into what we have now and what we will have in the future? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna give you a short history of VR, like the changes to VR, the type of headsets, and what it started to what we have now. So I guess this is the brief history of VR. So let's go all the way back to, actually, what was the first headset? What? 1968? What is that? I don't even know what this is. Yeah, we're not going that far back. This is stupid. So VR has just been here for a while. I guess the idea was just talked about and messed with from this time period. There are like a few things here and there, but nothing really came up of it. Just a concept or an idea. That is until in 2012 when Oculus decided to make it their first headset. This would be the first headset to be, I guess, technically in the consumer market. But this headset is like the Atari 2600 in like the VR world or something like that. This was the first time people could actually like play games in VR at home. And I'm looking at this thing and I think this thing looks very awful. The front is a square. The head strap is just Velcro. And this thing didn't even come with controllers. You had to use like an Xbox 360 controller to play games. It was just for like moving your head around and you couldn't actually like interact with anything in the game. This thing would be decently popular. I remember a lot of YouTubers using this to play games, mainly scary ones. I remember watching the Funny Irishman play games with it. And that blew my mind. I've never seen anything like this. Not many people have at the time. And this was basically the only headset to get. There was nothing else. If you wanted to do it, you had to get this. They would soon make a better model in the future, but it was mainly the same thing. And then in 2014, Facebook was like, yoink, my company now. But after that, not much happened. But then, in 2016, the HTC Vive came out. It was made by HTC and helped by Valve. Now this thing is like the NES in the VR world. This is when VR started to actually be real. There was so much more. They made the headset better, they made it so you had to put cameras around your room, and it gave you controllers. Now these things were awesome for the time. You were actually to feel like you were there and that you could pick stuff up with your hands and throw it around the room. This headset was basically when the dream turned into reality. It was so great and it only costed, oh no. Well, it was great. The headset itself, like this thing was everywhere. Like at a lot of places you went, they had like this VR stuff you could be at. However, you needed a really good computer to run a lot of this. That's gonna cost you a lot of quid. Not many people were actually buying it, at least not for their homes. But if you did have a good computer and a VR headset, you are having a good time. Because now they actually have games made for VR. Like the games Beat Saber, Super Hot, like Fruit Ninja VR. That's crazy. It's like you experience the same game in a whole new dimension. I mean, the original Oculus was doing that, but it didn't have the same effect as the HTC did. I mean, you've seen the HTC fail clips where they like fall into like the TV or something or just like fall down. And at this time, there was also the Oculus Rift that came out at the same time, but no one really cared. The HTC Vive was just better in almost any way. And then in this time, new VR headsets started to come in by random people, like this one, or this one. It seems like HTC couldn't get off. They were just on a roll and they would never stop. And then, at around this time, Valve, which helped make HTC and the Vive, broke ties to make their own headset. Which was fine for a while until they had to make a new one. They did make a few upgrades, like different versions of the HTC, but no one really bought any of those others. And Oculus decided to make two headsets in 1 year, the Rift S and the Quest. Oculus Rift was just a better version of the regular Rift, but it was good. It's the Quest that got all the love. Why? Because you didn't need a computer to run it. It could just be by itself and you could take it wherever you wanted. That is insane. They did two in 1 year to see which one did better and to know where to take the direction of Oculus, and the Quest is the one who won, obviously. And they also both had built-in tracking, so you didn't have to put cameras around your room to make it work. It was all done in the headset, which was also crazy. But also, Valve made their own, the Valve Index, which is probably one of the best VR headsets to this day. Its controllers can detect each finger, and it is the best in quality and for price, even though it is a little expensive. And it was HTC's turn, and they brought the Cosmos in 2019 with the rest of these headsets, and it failed. They did say around this time that they would slowly move into more of a less gamey direction, made for more like simulation and for companies and not for gamers, which, you know, that's fine, but it is kind of sad to see how far they went and how known they were. Now they are basically just kind of gone. They're still here, but they just make headsets for not us, which would just leave Oculus to dominate the market. I mean, around this time at Christmas 2019, I got a Rift S, and even though how much I hate Facebook, they doing a good job. And with that basically brings us to the present day, where Oculus made a second model of the Quest, called it the Quest 2, and made it only $300. This headset alone made a few of my friends get VR because of this. And in recent news, they just discontinued the Rift S, and they don't sell it on their website anymore. Rest in peace, I'll still use you. And that's basically where Oculus is right now. As for HTC, they've just come out with the Vive Pro 2 and the Vive Focus 3. I don't see anybody in the gaming world buying this. It just seems like they're slowly turning more into Oculus. They're kind of losing their identity that they had, which is kind of sad. These headsets are pretty expensive too. I really don't see any. Why would you buy this? And that basically just leaves Valve, who still has the Valve Index, which is still not bad. I mean, if I was just given an extra $1,000, I mean, I'd probably get one. There may be a few other random headsets by companies not known that much, but that's okay. And that's basically it, and that leaves us now. I have no idea what the future holds, but I think it's gonna be pretty freaking epic. It is crazy how just in this short amount of time, in like the 5-year span, how much has changed. Like how in 2012, it was basically the same thing for the 5 years, and then the next 5 years, it's completely different. I mean, the friggin' first Oculus is gonna be 10 years old by next year. And because of this one headset, just spawned a complete whole new generation of headsets. And just to think, this is just the beginning of VR. We're probably around like the SNES of like the VR world. We just figured out what works, what doesn't, and how to move forward. So I'm just waiting on what happens next, I guess. I kind of hope there'll be a new company that'll shake things up, but I have no idea. It's just all speculation. But yeah, but that's about it. So I hope things just get better from here, and I guess see you later. Have a good rest of your day.
Alright. Oh, he did?